here, Ultimate Blerds Podcast, episode 1. I'm your boy, Recruit Zero.
It's your boy, Uncle Charles. What it do?
And we are here to talk about a very, very important topic that I think
just dire situation.
All of us have a problem with. The gaming industry needs a power up right now. It feels like the gaming industry has really lost its way, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, let's look at Concord, a game that was on PlayStation that when they had their preview, everyone was like, what is this?
Right.
It was like an also ran game of some stuff we've already seen a bunch of, dropped, and within 24 hours was just like, we out of here.
I've never seen nothing like that where they just wipe a joint off the face of the earth after they hyped it so much. It's like
Cyberpunk. Like that.
Kind of, but they only did patches. They had to do patches. They didn't wipe it.
Took it.
Almost, but they weren't like, we'll burn all this money and we're done. It was like, that was terrible.
Imagine if you spent your hours like getting like the doors to work. Like,
exactly.
And your boss was like, yeah, we just take it.
Yeah.
Like don't even worry about it. Like, we out of here.
I know the developers got their money, but that has to be a hard blow. Because it's just, I've never seen anything like that. But patches, I think NBA Live, when they canceled that was one thing because they had a problem with the beta testing.
Yeah.
But that's few and far in between.
But I think it speaks to a whole of the industry, right? Like, let's go all the way back. Let's go in the way back machine, back to the late 1900s.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you put a game in a console, you turn it on, press play, we go.
Right.
At some point, like, now we do day one patches, like faces be messed up.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a bunch of stuff that you wouldn't think about. And I think part of that problem is the business model.
That's true, definitely. The business model is changing a lot. It's getting to be kind of like Hollywood, where it's that private equity is just looking to extract profit from the gaming industry.
True.
And they're doing layoffs, acquisitions of smaller studios. So you're not getting that diversity of even ideas in games anymore.
That's true.
Because everybody's looking to do a live service game where they can charge you microtransactions for the next 10 years.
I saw a photo of like the games that came out in like 1998. It was just like, it felt like 30 games, all hits, all AAA, and it's like now all we get is like Call of Duty.
Right. Call of Duty, Madden, 2K.
What was it? Football FC, EA
Yeah,
FC. Exactly.
Like
that's
since they stopped paying the FIFA license. So
I mean, it's just one of those things. I think about it, right? Like, one of the arguments has been like there's been no games this like generation, right? And I thought about it, and I was like, what if I played God of War, that was also on PS4. I played Horizon, that was also on PS4.
GTA 5.
I'm still playing
every
Skyrim.
PlayStation.
Like, like, what is the game that I'm looking at that is like define this generation?
Right, there is none. And with, what was it, the PS5 Pro announcement, all the sentiment I saw on Twitter was, why would I pay $700 for a console to play something with incremental increase in maybe graphics, like sharper grass? I don't need to pay $700 for that.
I'm gonna put it like this. Which camera? This camera, Sony. How many times am I gonna play The Last of Us? I can't play it no more. I don't care if every strand of hair moves. Like, I'm not paying that money, bro. Like, you got to give it up. Like, it's definitely not hidden.
Yeah, and they're like, they don't get it. Like, it used to be the golden era of games. Like you said, you'd have multiple AAA games, constantly having something to go rent or buy. Yeah. And now it's just like, oh, I'll hold on to this for 3 years.
And the other thing is, like, we rent games now. Like, I have Game Pass, right? Like, I like it, but like, I don't own anything. Like, I'm so quick to dismiss something. Right. Like, we give nothing any type of shelf life. Like,
that's true.
You used to have to sit with a sorry game. Like, you bought a game, it was sorry.
Right.
Like, you had to sit with, you had no choice. Like, $60 and asking your parents, right? It was like, this was it. Even as an adult, it's like, if I paid $60, I'm getting my $60 worth. But that's now it's like, I could just rent it. It's $15. If it sucks, who cares?
Yeah. And then on top of that, with them moving toward, digital games, you have to delete some of the games that have space on your hard drive.
Yeah.
Because unless you install a larger SSD or something, then it's like, oh, my console can hold 4 games.
I mean, Call of Duty take 200 gigs.
Every time you want to download just part of it, you download Warzone, that might be 300 gigs.
I think it's also like just the cash grab, right? Like everything is a microtransaction. Everything's a skin. Everyone's trying to play the long game. But you look at games like Elden Ring, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like no long game. You look at Alan Wake 2, like that was another fire one. Like,
right.
If you put money into a game, like even if it's not AAA, if it's like one below, like AA, like it still can do well. Like we see games do well. And I think it's because of that business model. And it's like everyone wants their game to be a hit. You know what I'm saying? It's like it can't be 100,000, 200,000. Like Square Enix said, both the latest Final Fantasies, Rebirth and 16 dropped, right? And sales were under expectations. So we'll probably not get a third one or we'll probably get the last Final Fantasy 7 one in the trilogy. But how can those games drop? And that's what I'm saying. Like the expectations are that high that if it doesn't hit those numbers, it's like it's not successful.
And that's like the bigger problem with just games, entertainment is like people don't want to have the mid-level success or anything. It's like everything has to be a home run or nothing. Yeah. And it's like that cuts out so many different properties because you could have, I mean, of course, there's budget considerations. Like we spent this, we need to make this back. But to think every game's going to make you $1 billion is ridiculous.
No, like there's like Fortnite was rare, Minecraft was rare, right? Like these, like Call of Duty, like these are like we were talking about boxing. These are like Mayweather level, once in a lifetime, 50-0 runs. Like every game isn't going to be like that, and you got to be able to like make mistakes. Like if you make a mistake with a game, it's pretty good, but it's not like the best. Your studio shouldn't close.
Exactly.
Right? Sony closed some studios. Microsoft has been closing the hell out of some studios, right? Like Hi-Fi Rush, I think their studio closed. Like, bro, like how are you just like again? I guess it's because it's not hitting those numbers. It's like, well, we'll just kind of close it. It's like, but those are the games that like keep the industry thriving, right?
Exactly.
I like going to see Marvel movies, but I like the thriller, the noir, like the
lower level indie movie.
Even my Tubi movies, you know what I'm saying? Like, I need all of those things. I can't just big budget 100-hour games.
Exactly.
Every release. Like, and then I'm an adult.
Yeah.
I ain't got that type of time.
I ain't got time for all that.
Dude, I remember playing Destiny playing so much Destiny. And I was like, this is like a job. Like I can't keep checking in to run a raid, checking in to run strikes. Like I'm just like, give me a game that's like 12 hours. Let me get in, let me get out. Let me have any experience. I'll be like, bet, I'll come back for the sequel.
Right.
Because the sequel's always better.
That's true. And it's just hard because, development time's going up, game prices going up, developer crunch, all of that is just all these different factors that's not really giving gamers the experience that they need.
You get Microsoft to buy Activision and say, listen, we're going to do right by y'all. It's going to be great. There's so much in the catalog that we're going to do. I'm telling you, it's going to be amazing.
Right.
Y'all are fired.
Exactly.
Just get out.
It's crazy.
Just get out. What about the games? We'll get to that. But don't worry about it. We're just here for mobile. Everyone wants like that mobile. Again, everyone's chasing like that long tail and forgetting like if you put in the quality over time, like that's where the audience came from. Like,
exactly.
Gears had that audience from Gears 1.
Exactly.
Right? And it wasn't I just finished like Gears like last month just to go through it again. That game wasn't long.
Right.
Like it wasn't like it was doing all this stuff. I mean, it was back then, but even still. And it was just so tight of an experience. It was like, I'm gonna come back for the next one.
Right.
And I'm gonna come back for the next one. You get these long games, it's just like you left stuff out. Like just
right. There's no really investment anymore. It's like, all right, that was cool. And either I finish it or I don't. Or
I usually don't.
Yeah. And it's like, all right, sequel,
I watch the ending on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna do. Like I'll just go on Twitter.
Right.
But I mean, I think it speaks to another issue as well, which is like games media or the lack thereof, right? So like
It's
we have
declining.
a lack of games and like a lack of games media.
Right.
Back in the day, like you remember like the stuff we used to read back in the day, like the sites back in the day.
Like we used to have Tips and Tricks magazine. We used to have Official PlayStation magazine, which bring demos back. Because Official PlayStation magazine,
demo disc?
Bring demo disc back. That's part of y'all problem. Y'all don't have no demo disc. We not trying to pay $60 for a whack game. We need to test that joint out. So we used to have.
They know it's a problem.
Right.
They got no day one patch.
Right. They know. They know. So we used to have that. We used to have Game Informer, Nintendo Power, EGM, Electronic Gaming Monthly, Game Pro. Had so many different magazines, right? So many different magazines where people would really dissect the culture, really dissect games, give you that background on learning what development is like, learning what the game was going to be like. So you really have that investment. Now it's just give us $60 to $70 and the game might work day one.
And part of the issue is like the internet, right? Like, so like now, companies don't need a media middleman. Like
That's
before,
true.
Like back then, if we wanted to learn about a game, we had to go there.
Right.
Like developers weren't talking to people.
Yeah. There was no Twitter account like
no Twitter where
hey,
they were just
game's
like
coming out soon.
Yeah, like we had to go there for the trailer. Like remember screenshots? Like remember it's like people used to like look for screenshots.
That's true.
And now it's like I could just give it to you direct.
Right.
Like I could just drop this. And so like the need for games media, you know, kind of got out of the way. And then also we shifted, right? So it's like we don't like sites, we like personalities.
That's true. The rise of the YouTuber really impacted games journalism because you don't need to see this person write an article, especially with people's attention spans now. Yeah. You're not going to go read an article when you can watch the guy play the game and really learn what the game's about. So you have that. Oh, shout out to G4 TV. That's another one, old school, Adam Sessler, we used to love. Adam Sessler, Morgan Webb. They used to be out there really giving us an insight into the game. So G4 TV was a foundational property too.
Yeah, it definitely was. I think one of the things that people don't like to say, and we know it's like there are people who do it for the love, right?
Right.
But let's just say like I'm Capcom, right? Why give it to somebody who, you know, has like certain journalistic standards, right? When I could give it to a couple hungry YouTubers,
right? Who'll say what you need,
who'll say what I need, who won't really talk about the game badly, you know, and just be like, "This is talking about like," because there was a trend at one point where like everyone was like hyping everything.
That's true.
Like on Twitter when the game dropped, I was like, "I'm crying. This is so good. This is like the most about." Like, bro, that's not even that great. Right? Like, what are we talking about?
It's like what? How much they gave you? Like, how much they gave you though?
But it's like it's easier, right? Like, so it also goes back to that demo point. Like, instead of like playing a demo, I just go on Twitch and watch somebody play.
That's true.
So like,
and we had the websites, the YouTubers that really constricted games me up. Then journalism getting constricted as a whole, like even outside of games, newspapers closing, advertisers not paying the same, magazines closing. So with that, it was just a perfect storm of games media really closing down on it. So then even things like Gamergate, where you start having critics getting attacked for their opinions and people having an outspoken minority really attacking people online. And then you're not going to want to really put your life into criticizing the game if you're gonna get super backlash later.
Yeah, it's like even if I'm like an individual, it's like I'm not risking getting swatted.
Right.
I'm saying like the game that y'all was crying over was just mid. Like it's like I mean it's cool. I mean I ain't tripping, but like.
Or even stuff like, oh, I like this game because it has a diverse character list, and then
you going broke.
Right, exactly. Like, people getting mad at that. It's like, the amount of people that are in game, it's a diverse culture. So to be mad that that's being represented in games is ridiculous.
I've been playing games all my life and count on my hand the number of times I've seen a nice clean fade. Like
you got the Killmonger swoop over now.
No, not the Killmonger. No, that's the new thing now. Like it used to be like as like black people, we had like 5 hairstyles, right? We had the cornrows,
the
fro, the baldy. and then like some type of like fade, high top. Like,
right.
It kind of worked.
Sometimes you get, depending on how good the game engine is, you might get some weird looking locks.
Oh yeah, you definitely get the locks, but it's like the bob locks, like the joints that go like no, it's like no one's really, but it's like if we talk about that, right? It's
right.
Like every time I play a game where I could create a character that's in somewhat, they have like a human race, like that you could choose from. Like yeah, I'm making someone black.
Right, exactly, and to have that is like. Games are to immerse yourself in. So it's like, it's crazy to see people complain about other people getting inclusion where that don't impact you creating your character. Your character type is still in there.
Yeah.
You mad because other people can create people that look like them now. That's ridiculous.
Yasuke's in Assassin's Creed.
Exactly.
It's
they
like,
mad at that.
It's like,
even though he was real. Shout out to Yasuke.
I mean,
holding it down.
You know, no one knows what he did, but it's just like, I just played the game.
Right.
Man.
They didn't make him up to make people mad. Like, he was a historical figure. And Assassin's Creed is about you body swapping with a dude through history. Like, it's not real.
Straight being John Malkovich. How many times I played this default video game character, and I was just like, this is an amazing game.
Right.
This is great.
I've never been mad about
like,
playing somebody not black. But when I get to make a black character, that's dope too.
Like, I think about Franklin, my man from Mafia 3, Black Shepherd from Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Just made him black, sleeping with everybody. Can't sleep with everybody on the game. At least try.
Mass Effect did give you them options.
Yeah, I mean, but like, that's the thing. But I mean, again, no one wants that type of. It used to be a time where, like, if you did talk about games, right, if you were coming like away from games media, like we would follow you, and if people didn't like you, they just turn you off. But you were able to build a community,
right?
And now it feels like building a community can feel like I don't want to say life threatening, but it's like, I want to enjoy my time online, say what I want to say, and like keep it moving.
Exactly.
I don't want to have to be like, oh, I offended this group over here, and this other YouTuber doesn't like it, so like now they got to talk about it, and now I'm in the comments, and so but I do think like in losing games media, we lost that mystique, right? Yeah,
for sure, because there's so much engagement that you could have in those type of groups, but now it's like so much tribalism of, oh, I'm strictly following this YouTuber and I'm going to stand for that YouTuber. And if they beef with this person or they say they don't like a game on their channel, then I don't like the game. Like, you haven't even played the joint yet.
Exactly. That's like, what are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? But like, it's just such a simple. I really do think, I said this one time, I wish developers would go back like straight Willy Wonka style. Like, we ain't giving y'all nothing. Just like a drip. Like, just drip it out. Like, y'all don't deserve to be like in every, like, cause y'all don't act right. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, we draw in. Also, I think just the marketing has gotten so bland. Like, they always overhype it. They always use like the same catchphrases. It's like, we've created immersive worlds. I'm like, that's BS.
Right.
I know this gonna be trash.
Photorealistic graphics. It's like, it already looked real before.
Think when you hold the controller, you'll be like, bro, you ain't got to give me all that. Just tell me.
They're putting too much sauce on it.
It's just like way too much. And it's never going to be good. You be Peter Molyneux-ing the game. Yeah. Like, you be straight like lying to me. And I know you're lying. Yeah. As you look me in the face for my $60. Like, you know it's going to be good.
It's like 2K and Madden. Yeah. Every year they showed a screenshot of like LeBron sweating and it's like extra realistic sweat. And I'm like, bro, I don't need that. I don't need that.
Look at Concord. Concord, they were selling the hell out of Concord. We have this and these characters. It was just like, what? That's it?
And like, then canceled a week later.
Canceled a week later.
It wasn't enough.
You didn't even get a chance to boot it up good. Right. Imagine Amazon was late with your package and you was just like, it's all over?
And then with the digital game, they just wipe it out your library. So you really don't even get to try it.
Straight PT status on there. It's like, you ain't gonna let me keep it? I might want to play it. Nope. Like, ain't no offline mode.
They're like, nah, you don't need that, player.
It'd be good on Netflix. like Arcane.
Yeah.
I watch it as a show. I mean, it's like a bootleg Guardians of the Galaxy. That's what I thought it was. I was like, what is this? Oh, it's a team-based shooter.
Right.
Like Overwatch?
And what's
like
crazy is Amazon's about to have an anthology show, and one of the shorts is going to be Concord. So it's like, nobody got to play the game, but now we about to watch a short film about the game.
And then you took it. You didn't even say, like, we're going to patch it. Like everybody else.
Right.
I'm just
it was just done. But I mean, with that, like, what do you think could really revitalize gaming culture and like game development to give the customers what they want and just make it a more lively culture in general?
Yeah. Stop chasing trends.
True.
Like every game does not have to be Dark Souls. Like
I heard that Monkey Wukong is dope though.
Man, let me tell you something. I'm old school. I'm angry and I got a lot of time on my hands. Anytime I die and I gotta lose everything and to make a mad dash back, like I'm not feeling like
that's right.
That game, like I appreciate that genre for what it is. I also am old enough to know that that's not me.
Right.
Like I don't diss it. I think it's great. I think people that like it, I think that's dope for them.
But we need checkpoints?
No, but I just think you need to make a more traditional action game or like, just something that ain't Dark Souls. Like,
right.
Everybody be ripping everything from like I had a conversation with my homeboy and he was like, every action adventure game current is a rehash of Tomb Raider.
I never thought about it. Tomb Raider was dope.
It was dope.
But
it was dope. And I'm not talking about old PlayStation Tomb Raider. I'm talking about the trilogy.
Oh, the reboot?
The reboot. It's all rehashes of Tomb Raider. What do? You climb up walls. You have a grappling hook, right?
And that's a rehash on Uncharted, really.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's all, and then like some simple combat.
Right.
And so it's just like one of those things like, it goes back to that other point of like being able to try something different. Like before Batman, I don't even know how we were fighting. Like in action games. And then Batman came through with that fighting system. And everybody
with the Arkham Asylum and everything. Yeah.
And everybody took that and ran with it, which wasn't a bad thing, but that experimentation allowed us to get that.
That's true. I mean, it's definitely chasing trends is a problem for sure. We need, because that's a problem across media. Like we get that with movies. We don't get experimental scripts anymore because everybody's like, well, they made money before, so we'll just do that again. But it's like, it's diminishing returns and they don't keep the culture fresh. Yeah. It's like, we need to fix that. We need to get more positive online communities because like anybody who's been in a Call of Duty lobby, you know what I'm talking about. It's toxic, super toxic. And everybody's a casual gamer. They don't want to have to deal with that. You come home from a 9 to 5 to a little 12-year-old talking stuff to you.
I turned the chat. I turned the chat to friends. I realized this. I was like, everyone doesn't get like the ability, permission, and like privilege to talk to me online. Nah,
that's facts.
Like
that's a good mindset. That's a good mindset.
You don't just get to talk to me because we online. Like I don't know you. I don't know what you got going on. I probably don't even want to talk to you. Like, and that sounds like elitist, but it's just more so like, this is my private space. Like, not only that, like, it's not like someone talking to you face to face.
Right.
Like, them dudes be in your ears.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very, like, it sounds wild. It's a very intimate setting to be in my ear, like, telling me some BS. Like,
or hearing them cooking dinner in the background.
Yeah, bro. Every time. Now, sometimes it be some funny conversations, but it's always like someone got their music on, someone got this on, and I'm like, I'd rather just talk to my friends.
Right. It's like a lack of respect for the online space. It's like we all here just trying to hit the objectives, get some team chat going, but you gotta be wilding out. It don't make sense.
This is how it always been. Y'all just need to go with thick skin. Like, bro, I don't feel like doing like y'all.
Right. I don't pay $70 for that. Like, just play the game, man.
I don't even know you, bro. Like, just that. Now, if you ain't playing the objective, that's a different thing. I might need to cut the chat. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we playing checkpoints and you just like off over here.
Right, doing like, whatever.
Yeah, just doing like not following. Yeah. But other than that, it's like, bro, I ain't play to hear you.
Exactly. And then I think another thing for developers, they need to focus on core mechanics in the gameplay. Like we were saying earlier, they too focus on the graphics. Like at this point in where we are with video games, the graphics look, I've had people come to my house and see me playing Madden and think football was on. We got enough graphics. We need the core mechanics to work and be enjoyable.
We do.
Because without that, I'm not playing 100 hours of something that feels broken.
That's true. I'm trying to think of like, what's something new that came out and a mechanic that I was just like, this is dope. And I was like,
for me, it was Helldivers 2.
Okay.
Because Helldivers, that joint,
it's janky, but I love it.
I mean, it works. It's like you call in your stratagems, you gotta punch in the directional buttons.
Messing up
right, and you start panicking, you're like, oh,
no.
Right, that's a great mechanic.
That is dope.
Like, it gives you stress, but it's the right amount to keep it exciting because the missions are pretty repetitive over time. But that makes every experience feel different.
It does.
So
that loop, that gameplay loop, let me put it like this. When I say janky, it's like that mid-tier game that has like that level of jank that's just like you appreciate. Like, people be sleeping like it's the most polished thing. Like, nah, like I like in Skyrim, I can run up a jagged mountain. Like, I know this you had a path this way, I can go this way. But I like glitching up the mountain. Like I like that about my video game. It's like,
that's true.
Don't make it goes back to like, you don't have to spend so much money to make everything such a polished.
Right.
Like, sometimes I just want to play a video game.
Exactly.
Like you know what games are like that? The Like a Dragon games and the Yakuza games. Like, I started playing, I played Lost Judgment, the second one. Now I'm playing Like a Dragon, the man who forgot his face in the title thing. Them joints be dope. Like, what I like about them is like, they know they're a video game. Like, they're not trying to, like, they do things here and there, but it's like, yo, we're a video game and we're going to present like a video game, and it's gonna be dope.
Like a game like that where it's like, it wasn't the top tier polished graphics, was this game Sifu, where it's a fighting game, but like every time you die, you get older. And it's like, it didn't look like real life, but it was nicely stylized. The gameplay was cool. Figuring out the combos and stuff. So it was enjoyable. And it's like things like that. As a matter of fact, that's why Nintendo is still in the game against Xbox and Microsoft. I mean, Sony and Microsoft, because they realized the gameplay was where to contend, not trying to get the fastest console, and nobody can touch them. And
it's this place where you could get those AA games. Like, RPGs live. I had a homeboy who lives on the Switch, has an Xbox, has a PlayStation, swears by the Switch. Right. And it's because it's like all these games that are not available, I can get on Nintendo. And like, Nintendo will always quality check. And you know what I'm saying? Like, you could get some Android games on there. They're in the marketplace. But usually it's like, that's where they live. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they remembered that Sony used to be like that at one point. It was like the place where you could get some obscure game that someone used to make and get that cult following and that, that studio could build up. But they don't do that anymore. Now it's like, or they buy them. And then and
shut them down.
Yeah. You get one game out of them, then you close them like that. I think the other thing is just like the business model, right?
For sure. Like the developer crunch, that's got to stop. Because if you got your employees working 80 hours a week for 5 years, at some point it's not going to work out. You're not getting the best quality product out of them. And to try to, that constant like fight for ever increasing profits is not a winnable model for anybody.
And that chasing the long tail and trying to make lifestyle games is just, I go back to like, that's only a few companies can do that. Right. Like, you saw Bungie do it successfully. Folks over at Epic did it successfully.
Right. You got Rockstar did it with GTA.
Yeah, but and that was almost a damn fluke. Because I remember when it came out, everyone was playing like the campaign. And what really took that off was the role playing, like when people started building servers. Right. When it just dropped by itself, no one was kind of playing it. Like, it was kind of fun, but it was the role playing that made it like just take off. Like, and so we just need more room for experimentation. Maybe it's dynamic pricing. Maybe it's more crowdfunding.
I mean, I feel like you see that a lot in PC games because you got like Steam where an independent developer can drop something and get traction and get an audience for their game. But you don't see that as much on console. Maybe the development cost is different or whatever it may be, but something needs to happen to where the mid-tier games don't get dropped out in favor of only dropping AAA games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a lot. The private equity model of entertainment in general is not working out for people who consume the media. So we need to change that. We need to get better games. PS5 Pro, until something come out, I don't think that's going to hit. So Sony, somebody need to talk to somebody about that.
Last question. What game are you looking forward to the most this generation, if it ain't out yet?
GTA 6. I need GTA 6. And I don't want it on PS6.
Would you buy a Pro if that was only available for a Pro?
Maybe.
Well, Sony, you just made $700. I don't know what I'm looking forward to. The game that ain't coming out for like 15 years. Another Fallout and another Elder Scroll.
Okay. So, yeah.
I don't care if they play the same. That's one I'm letting slide. All
right. So yeah. Well, I think we had some good ideas for how the gaming industry could glow up.
Yeah.
And get back to where it used to be.
Exactly.
So this was Ultimate Blerds, episode 1. I'm your boy Recruit Zero.
I'm Uncle Charles.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Peace.